Also, would it not look better with a dartboard here rather than just that? Considering we have played darts on the show before, and it's about loads of different sports.
You're making a sexy point.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Just there, I'll grab it. She's not light.
Heavy is good. Heavy is quality. Name of the film.
Dodgeball. No, that don't work, does it now?
All right.
I'm doing very well, are you?
I'm all right, I guess.
Still riding high from that England win.
Yeah. Might have lost a little bit on having Germany to win in my bet.
How much?
Don't ask.
Really?
you
That's
know,
just
it's
stupid.
just
And you didn't even do that in a sort of, I'll bet the opposition to win because it covers my back and it makes me feel a bit better. Because even though the team I wanted lost, I've still got 50 quid. You just did it because you wanted them to win and you'd like them.
I also thought Germany was going to win. I didn't do it as some sort of sadistic sort of like, oh, I really hope they win.
No.
I thought they were going to win.
Yeah.
I only put bets on them what I think are going to win.
Yeah.
But that's why it's called gambling, John.
This conversation last week when you said there was absolutely no chance England were going to win. What did you actually think of the performance then? Because they were actually quite good, weren't they?
I think, as always, loads has been made of it. Have you seen the XG for the game?
I don't care.
No, but identical.
Yeah, of course it's identical. Because we had, but the difference is their XG was made up from one brilliant chance for Muller, a decent chance for Werner, a shot from Havertz, just a mess about bit of shit after that.
And England's was
but England's was made up from 2 6-yard tap-ins, which are much actually more likely to go in.
Yeah, they are, and they were good crosses. And,
Yeah.
and actually, I thought Kane, who's been... Here's the thing. Sterling and Kane have scored goals. Now you're not allowed to be critical of them. And you're also not allowed to be critical of Gareth Southgate. Got his tactics spot on. Well, that just eliminates any critical thinking about, hang on, why did he still play Saka though? There's still no reason for it. And in all the games that he scored, Sterling should have been coming off about the 60-minute mark. Him staying on, does it justify his selection? I'm not sure it does.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not sure it does.
But surely getting a goal, I think of the front three, he was the most obvious threat throughout the game. He was the one that when he got the ball, he would drive forward with
you
it.
still then you completely eliminate the fact that he almost got an assist for Muller.
Yeah,
Like,
he did. But
and this is the problem, is that you can't have a balanced conversation about him. I think he's been weirdly effective. That doesn't rule out that wanting either Rashford or Sancho or possibly even Calvert-Lewin in the team over him isn't necessarily a wrong decision. Now, I'll tell you what I was wrong about. England winning, and I think you was as well, England winning a knockout game against a big opposition, that was one.
Well, last week on this show, I said I thought we'd win. I thought we had a chance of winning. I thought, I was optimistic that we might. It is always difficult to do that in it, like we've never done it before, properly.
Well, yeah, literally.
So not since 1966 anyway. So it did come as a surprise. I think, and this is just my theory on this, I think when you think back to like 96, even 2010, was it the Lampard one? Whenever that was, I blanked that out really. Those German teams were full of players that played in Germany that didn't really know any of the English players. They'd know them as players but never played against them, never played with them. This was a team that had like a real Premier League spine to it. Rudiger, Havertz, Werner. I think
you had Can in the mix as well.
Yeah,
Sané
Emre Can as well.
so
Sané.
quite a few of them had
I
played
think
experience
that
in England.
It felt like they played with a bit more respect for England than they normally do. Normally it's like, we're Germany, we're the best team in Europe, we're going to beat you. It felt like they were like, actually no, just so you know, England are quite good. I wonder if playing alongside and against some of the English players more often than they ever used to, or than recent teams have anyway, gave them a bit more of a respect and not a fear, but like, I don't know, it just felt like at certain times they weren't as ruthless and sort of unfaltering as they normally are. They're normally just straight through, don't worry about it. I wonder if knowing the players a bit more affected them at all.
It could, and I wouldn't take anything like, because I think literally before the watch along started, I said, look at this team. People keep bagging on this Germany team, but look at it.
Yeah.
Like, there's some serious talent in that team. Yes, they're probably lacking an out-and-out number 9, I guess. I mean, they still had Werner. He's not been on form. I thought he could have been a bit of a surprise yesterday. Joe, it was just the thing, wasn't it? Like, he's been shit in the Premier League. He plays England in a knockout and he scores that trick.
He beats him.
Like, I could see that happening, something along those lines happening. The first 10 minutes or so, what I expected to, and actually for most of the first half, Germany dominated the ball. England couldn't play through midfield. And I've said my instincts at half-time was to rejig this to try and get you to play through the middle. But I was like, I don't think England are even thinking about that. I really don't. But that means then if they're looking to try and play into the channels, it ain't working with Sterling at least being on the left.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until Sterling moved to the right and perhaps even getting Saka off the pitch and having somebody else that's got a bit more go forward in them, i.e. Jack Grealish, did you start to see, now I don't know if this is orders or a coincidence, but Luke Shaw started appearing in the final third once Sterling had disappeared out of his lane a little bit. And this is the thing is, when you look back at a game, people seemingly, you're not allowed to criticise anything because it went right.
Yeah, definitely.
But if Muller's goal goes in, you've got a different,
I think we'd have
different
lost.
story.
I think if that goes in, we'd have lost because we don't have that mental sturdiness based on anything other than how good those players are. They have it based on, we don't have a history. A lot of those players haven't won big trophies. A couple of them have won Premier Leagues and stuff, but you look at Maguire's not really won a lot. Pickford's not won anything. Shaw's not won much.
I won't say easy because that's reductionist, but we made it did feel quite controlled.
Yeah.
Like it was almost like, and I will give Southgate credit for this. I think he played the game rather than the occasion for once. And England typically always play the occasion. But even against Scotland, we played the occasion rather than that. And I think they played the game. And the first 10 minutes, Germany looked like they were just going to steamroll.
Yeah, they were like passing through the midfield.
Yeah,
so
everything
easily.
that we were worried about was there to see. And England didn't panic. And that's rare for England. So I imagine if you're one of the players in the dressing room and he'd have said it, as you're walking out, X, Y, and Z, and then at half-time, hey, this is exactly where we wanted to be, lads. And I believe in us to kick on and probably get a goal or two and win this thing. As you've come in after beating Germany, that's a great place to be as a coaching staff and players, isn't it? It's like, hey, it went exactly like I said it was going to go, lads.
Yeah.
Who have we got in the next round?
Don't
fucking worry about it.
Because the other thing to remember is, I know that you mentioned the XG and stuff, but it was never going to be a game that we just completely dominated. Unless Germany, a red card or two, maybe we could have had 65, 70%.
No, it wasn't, but 2-0 looks comfortable and it wasn't comfortable.
No, it wasn't particularly comfortable. It was a 1-0 with a second goal. I think we were the better team. And those two chances we made were better than any chances Germany had. Even the one-on-one with the goalie, he's shooting from 20 yards out.
He was.
Both of ours were on the 6-yard line.
It was. I don't think that was a high XG still. That.
No.
I'll have to absolutely look into that and see what it was. But it was a good chance.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. With all of those chances, it's like, who hit one from range?
Havertz, from the edge of the box.
Yeah, he got it on target.
Tipped over by Pickford, yeah.
That's all you want to ask for.
Yeah.
And with Muller, actually Pickford gets out of his way for it. The corner he was going for, he had quite a lot of space. He didn't need to be as accurate as I think he was trying to be. Get it right in the cheek. It should have been a goal. That was where the game swung, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm a little bit sick as well of this whole, and it happens with Solskjaer at United as well, where the team is announced and Twitter just shred the manager for it. Like, no Sancho, no Grealish, no Rashford, no da-da-da-da. And you think, the game hasn't even happened yet. You're not at training every day. You don't know what's going on. You don't know the system that's been set up. You don't know why we're going for a 5 at the back when we've not played 5 at the back all tournament. Like, all of these things, and it's just, well, we've lost and we're shit. Well, let's just wait and see first. And I just think, like, Solskjaer is the same thing. When he picks a team, everyone goes, oh, why has he picked him? Why is he there?
Three was sound.
Yeah.
I haven't been a fan of Kane or Sterling at this whole tournament.
No, well, Kane's been shocking in particular.
And Saka, I think, justified everyone's questioning of why he played. And again, just because the game was won doesn't mean that he made poor decisions in team selection.
Yeah.
Like, you can still get away with winning a game and still look at the inquest of why are you playing Saka? Like, what was the tactical need that Saka was doing? Were we pressing hard? Not really.
A little bit in spells, but not consistently.
Were we looking to maybe isolate, because Rudiger just physically dominated him, didn't he? And you're like, are we looking to try and get him 1v1 to what is the? I don't know what the reason is, so it's hard for me to even hypotheticalise why he played him. And I wonder, would have Sterling been playing on that side had more of a joy? Would having Grealish on the other side have had more joy? Would Rashford or Sancho, or even one of the things I said at half time was my instinct. And this is how wrong I was because, and again, this is a poor decision from Southgate. No Calvert-Lewin even on the bench.
Yeah.
You had 5 centre-halves in your matchday squad and 1 forward. Is he bulletproof, though, Steve? No, he gets injured a lot.
Yeah.
So we just won't have another striker.
I guess it was Rashford was who was going to bring on because he has brought him on for Kane.
He had Cody and
already.
Mings.
No, I know, but yeah, I didn't quite understand. I'm not saying, and I do think people are guilty of this as well, is if you win, everything you did as a manager, as every player, every decision, everything was perfect. And if you lose, no matter how tight the game was, everything you did was terrible. Yeah. And you see a lot of that in like...
And I hate that, because it's not the case.
No, like, it wasn't all perfect, but I think the mental side of it is such a huge thing that the mental side of beating, was it Colombia in the penalty shootout in the World Cup, then the mental side of not conceding any goals, and people are talking so much about this Italy team not conceding, I think it's 12 matches. England haven't conceded in 9, which is amazing for an England team, especially, you know, we're in a
played different level of opposition, but still.
But you know, even so, we played Germany now.
Now, England having come through the Germany game still without conceding, I think it is impressive.
Yeah.
And you know, I say hats off to them for that. I thought Harry Maguire was very good yesterday.
Yeah, brilliant.
In fact, I think he was the only one that was any good yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought Stones was good. I thought Luke Shaw was good. I thought Sterling was good, to be honest.
I thought Shaw was good once he got into... Because that's
Second
his game.
half.
His game is being in the final third. His game is not as a defensive fullback. He looked good when he got involved. He was just anonymous. Sterling was in his zone. So why are you going to pass it to Shaw and just give it to Sterling?
Yeah.
I thought Sterling had a couple of decent dribbles, but like the result of the dribbles was a ricochet rather than his pass. And
but he put pressure on, and he did lead to, you know, where Shaw almost did the same thing for the second goal, got the ball, drove forward, laid it off, and it went in, you know, got played in. Sterling did the same for the first one, got the ball, drove forward between a cluster of players, and whether he passed it or he got deflected, his pressing and his urgency opened that space up for Kane, and he was just getting double teamed all game, wasn't he? Every time the ball came in the box, it was Rudiger in front, Hummels behind, or vice versa.
But that's where I have to ask him, right, you know you're getting double teamed, make better decisions.
Yeah.
Because there were players off him and he wasn't popping the ball off enough, I don't thought, to people that was in space. And then as soon as Jack Grealish came on, he did. Like, he draws the attacks and finds someone in
still
space.
Finds a pass.
And you know, Jack Grealish has had, I mean, you can talk about Sterling's hand in it, but look at the amount of minutes Sterling's played. Look at the minutes Jack Grealish has played and the impact he's had in those minutes. It's way higher.
But then again, is it possible that he's better at coming on, playing less minutes and being impactful because of his style? He can draw players onto him. I know he's not quick and he's going past tired players, but tired players who take half a step longer, he's got the vision and he's so good at waiting and then playing the ball. Maybe he's good at coming on later.
It's a pure hypothetical, isn't it? Because we have no way of knowing.
Of course, yeah.
Like, I think if you'd have played Sancho, you might have seen more from Kane.
Yeah.
Someone that's actually going to start fizzing the ball in for him over Saka. Where's your evidence for that? I haven't fucking got any.
Yeah.
It's just my feeling.
Just what you want.
And it's like, Grealish has looked great. Could he have looked better if he'd have played full 90 minutes from his time? Yes. Yeah. But also no.
Yeah.
Like, it's a total hypothetical. So, you know, again, I think you can examine the decisions. Ultimately, if he ends up winning the thing, it doesn't matter.
No.
But if he goes out in the next round to, it's Ukraine, isn't it? Ukraine. If he goes out in the next round to Ukraine and he plays Saka again and he plays some of the ones that are maybe underperforming a touch, you know, and Kane obviously scored a great finish, really. It's a difficult finish to get on the end of, but he's been shit. Yeah,
really bad.
He's been, you know, impossibly shit. He would have been justified, I think, in dropping him, but he's never dropping his captain. If he lives and dies on the decisions of playing those two again or something like that and we go out, like, if he wins it, there's probably going to be zero inquest, and rightly so. Because ultimately your job is to win it. And you go, did I make some mistakes on the way? Yeah. Did I win it? No. Yeah. So go fuck yourself. Yeah. And he's fully entitled to say that. But I'm not sure he's going to win it.
Well, I mean, the Ukraine game, and I think Denmark it'll probably be. they're winnable, but they're also not a walk in the park. Neither of those teams are a walk in the park, especially Denmark have got some really good players.
But you couldn't have asked for a better draw than Ukraine
no.
now. And this side of the draw, Germany aside, the walk to a final is well achievable. If you'd have been given the option of that...
Even easier than it was in the World Cup, and that was easy, because no one on this side is as good as that Croatia team were. One final person to mention, because he's got nothing but stick from me and everyone, Jordan Pickford hasn't put a foot wrong this whole tournament. He hasn't had that much to do, but he saved the Werner shot, he saved the Havertz shot, and hasn't made a single mistake so far. So, a bit of credit for him as well, I think.
Yeah, I think it was valid. Yeah, I'd say that's valid. I think Kyle Walker's been poor in possession, if you're kind of going through a little bit. But he's in there because Stones and Maguire aren't winning any 100 metres races.
Yeah, and it kind of works as well because, I mean, we don't have... I mean, Cody's slow. Mings is quick-ish, but he's not good on the ball at all.
He's not Walker fast.
No,
Walker's
he's not.
Speed's like...
Yeah.
It hurts your head.
And also Walker, whilst he's not been that good in possession, is much better on the ball than Tyrone Mings. He can bring the ball forward much better. I think those three as a back three is really difficult. There's a point where they just resorted after about 80 minutes to just chipping the ball in the box. I was like, have you never seen Harry Maguire play? You aren't going to do anything doing this. I mean, it's possible, but I think he won like 5 headers in the last 4 minutes, Maguire, just nodding them back out, nodding them back out.
It was the anticipation ones, though. They were playing direct balls up to him. And he was nicking in front of the forwards in front of him, and I'm like, I fucking love that.
That's really good.
Because, if you miss those, you've just let him in. But if you get them, you make him look a right dick.
Yeah, really good. That's what, I mean, not the quality's not the same, but Rio was so good at that as well, wasn't he? Where the ball's been played up to the striker, and he's gone round the striker and won the ball before the striker's even got it.
The striker goes,
oh shit, I should have tried that. But yeah, I was so impressed. And maybe Germany aren't that good, but you go through their team, it's not a terrible Germany side. It's not as bad as the one from 3 years ago.
Goretzka, Kroos, Kimmich is in midfield.
Yeah.
They didn't play, who was we talking about beforehand? It was Gundogan, wasn't it? So it was like Gundogan, Kimmich, Kroos, you're not going to see the ball. And like I said, first half, that kind of was the case. But England just had a different idea, and it was like, we know they're probably going to keep the ball.
Yeah.
And we'll just go around it.
And also,
they didn't try and play through the middle either.
No, and we'll stop them from making chances. So yes, you might have the ball, but I think they had 1 shot on target, Germany, or maybe 2 with the Havertz and the Werner one. I think that was it. So it's like, even if you scored them both, I know Muller should have scored, but it would have been a close game either way. So stopping people scoring and taking shots is such a good quality to have.
Well, and also, in a knockout tournament, this is the sort of unique thing about football, is because it's such a low-scoring game.
Yeah.
That a poor team has got a chance of scoring a goal in a game, and that means that the level of upsets that you get versus, say, a basketball or a rugby where there's multiple scoring is so much higher.
Yeah.
And that's why you do get those crazy upsets and stuff like that you get in football. Because, as we even saw with Switzerland the other day, I mean, what a crazy game of football that was.
Yeah.
They take the lead, and I'm like, surely not.
Yeah.
I mean, it was first half, wasn't it? So you're like, there's plenty of time here. Can they hold on? Then they get a penalty, and you go, oh my God. Then they miss it. Drama!
and then in the next 4 minutes, France scored twice to take the lead.
And you go, well, there's the sliding moment for that game. You score the penalty, you're in the next round. Now you've fucked it, you're going home. No.
And then France score again, and then Switzerland score twice. Amazing.
Insane. And then Mbappe, with not a bad penalty, loses them the game.
I thought Mbappe was so bad for the whole tournament that he would surely score. Because it's like, he isn't a terrible player. Maybe he's doing better in France than he would in other leagues, whatever. But he's not a shit player. We know he's not. I thought...
And his pace is mind-bending.
Unreal, no matter how, whatever else you think of him. I thought he's definitely going to score this because he's been so shit. And then he just missed it.
But like I said, it was a good penalty. Yeah. It wasn't in that Gareth Southgate zone where it's just let me get that.
Yeah.
It was a decent height and it was a decent power and it was decently into the corner. Well, it wasn't in the joint, but you don't have to put it in the joint to score usually. That's a place where you score from. Great save.
Yeah, Jan Sommer, good goalie.
Right then, I think we should speak to Mohammed Butt from Squawka and find out who he thinks and who the stats are saying is actually going to go win this thing. So how's the rest of this tournament going?
Mate, honestly, like there's so many ways it could go yet, because obviously what we've seen so far is it's completely utterly unpredictable. The big teams, a lot of big teams have fallen. France capitulated. Switzerland, Spain almost threw it away and then recovered and didn't. Portugal, got out of the group of death, and then were kind of just, they didn't have anything going against the Belgian defence with a cumulative age of over 100 years old. Like, it's crazy. With England in particular, right? England have mostly underwhelmed in this tournament. If we're being perfectly honest, they haven't really played good football. They've been solid defensively. Maguire's been excellent since he came in. Mings was good before that. Stones has been all right, although Germany kind of had fun with him. Phillips and Rice have been very good, I thought. And in midfield, they've been really pressing really well. But Sterling has not really played consistently well, but he's shown up in the odd moments to score the goals. Grealish has been very positive off the bench. Shaw came alive, obviously, and we've been over this with what happened against Germany. But it's just, someone has to take control of the tournament. No one's done that yet. No one's really come close to taking control of the tournament. England, they've got, you don't want to say a gimme against Ukraine, right? But that's.
But they have.
No, because it's not. I think Sweden would have been a gimme. Because I think Sweden would not have had anything. They would have just sat back and tried to contain it and would have lost eventually because they're not as good. Ukraine
is the worst ranked team left in the competition.
Yeah, but Ukraine, they are, but they've got something about them. They've got something about them. Like there's just a little fighting spirit there, which is something that you can't ever discount. England will probably win 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100. They would win. They're a better team. Top to bottom, they're a better team. But there's just something about Ukraine, and it's not going to be at Wembley. England have benefited hugely from being at home in every single stadium. Sterling, every single game. Sorry, Sterling in particular, I think has really thrived playing in what is essentially his backyard. He's really thrived there. You can see the fans. Kane's on about how the fans made a difference, how good the fans have been.
Staying at St George's Park as well.
What's that?
Are England staying at St George's Park and travelling down to Wembley?
I think so. Yeah. So it's been very like a home tournament for them, and it's been really good. And But going away now, they've got to go to Rome. That's not necessarily going to be the easiest thing, But I think England will win. I think they'll beat Ukraine. But it's not like 100% foregone conclusion because Ukraine just have something about them. There's a bit more to them. But you look at it, and then they're going to play either Denmark or Switzerland. That game's going to be very interesting because the Swiss are the Czech Republic. Sorry, Denmark, Czech Republic are. England beat them in the group, but the Czech Republic didn't really need to win that game, and they sort of came with a sort of half-assed approach, weren't really going for it. They're a much more dangerous team when they really go for it. They get the crosses into Schick, to Souček, and they could be quite dangerous, but Denmark are top to bottom an excellent team, like actually genuinely an excellent team. Like Kasper Schmeichel was great. We know this. Simon Kjaer, and aside from being an amazing human being, which we saw during the Eriksen tragedy, he's actually a great defender. Christensen, we've seen for Chelsea repeatedly, is a brilliant defender. Jakob Mahler is, bloody hell, where's he come from? 2 goals in 2 games. He's phenomenal in attack. Really dangerous. So don't discount him at all from making an impact in late in games as he's shown. He's got great stamina. In midfield they've got quality. And then up front is the sort of area where maybe you're even wondering, like, do they have the quality? Because it's like Brathwaite's done really well, right? Great energy, great running, really good player, hardworking player, and him and Højbjerg gives the team a sort of like workman-like ethic. They really work hard. But it's just the striker situation, right? Yusuf Poulsen was delivering for them, got injured. Kasper Dolberg came in and he played really well, 2 goals. If he can keep it up, that level of performance, then you honestly don't rule Denmark out. Not just beating Czech Republic, which I think they will do. Don't rule them out beating England, because honestly, it's not just that they're great. The narrative is with them as well. After the Eriksen tragedy, winning it for Christian Eriksen, that's a huge thing.
It's a different narrative, but it echoes the narrative of the 1992 win, doesn't it? Where they shouldn't have been there. Everything was against them. They had a free swing at it almost, and they came up trumps with obviously Kasper's old man in net.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's exactly it. And then that team sort of like really looms large in the Danish folklore, Danish footballing history, right? And so this team will have the chance to write their own legend. And I genuinely think they're such a good team front to back. It's just a matter of if they can keep scoring goals from their strikers. So if Poulsen and Dolberg can keep scoring, genuinely don't count them out, because they have a great organisation structure. They've got a great team, and they've got a genuinely, not just a footballing, a genuinely heroic reason to want to win the tournament, right? For Christian Eriksen, aside from football nonsense.
That's this side of the tree. Let's look at the other side where the probable winner's going to come from.
This is the hot side, right? This was the fire side of the draw, and like Switzerland have totally put the cat among the pigeons, right? They beat France because France thought I mean, Didier Deschamps. This is my concern about Southgate. It sort of echoes my concern about Deschamps when they won the World Cup in 2018. Was that he had this amazing squad that could play amazing attacking football, and he chose to play very conservatively and sort of do just about enough to win. Right, 1-0, 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, whatever. And you keep thinking. I kept saying 2 years ago, I was like, Deschamps, please God, bring Dembele on, bring Lamar on. You will win these games like 3-4-0 if you just take a bit of a risk in attack. And he wouldn't do it. But he won the World Cup. So I was like, he won the World Cup. You can't say anything about that. And I was like, well, just wait and see, because he's playing a very, very game of small margins. And I think, and that came back to bite him against Switzerland, right? So he played this weird 3-5-2, which didn't really 3-4-2-1-2, which didn't really work. Swiss went ahead, but then his team remembered they were great, right? Pogba was like, you know what, lads, let's not go out like suckers.
So you're saying some of the football France decided to play it in that sort of period to get back into the game, they absolutely wiped the floor with them.
I mean, this is it, right? This was the world-class talent of France, right? Karim Benzema, like the most outrageous touch to goal I've ever seen since 2010 when Xavi did it against Real Madrid in the 5-0. Just outrageous goal. His second goal was great. Griezmann, fantastic. Mbappe didn't really have a good tournament, but he had a couple of nice passes involved in those goals. Pogba was just outrageous. Like, was like, here I am, best player of the tournament so far. First of all, second of all, was like, right, here I am, witness me, sort of thing. Brilliant performance, amazing goal. You're thinking, this is it now. France are going to win this game, and then this is it. They're going to start steamrolling everybody now. It felt like the Argentina game when they beat Argentina in 2018. And then they just got very complacent. And for all the dogging of Clement Lenglet, and he was horrible in the first half, got bullied for that first goal. Kimpembe was just as bad, in fact, probably worse. And Kimpembe got picked on for the second goal, for Seferovic's second goal, and then humiliated for the third goal. Like the ITV punditry were going after Pogba for that. And I was like, Pogba gave the ball away. Pogba didn't give the ball away, sorry. Pogba got tackled in the middle of the pitch. The ball then goes 20 yards behind him. Kante's nowhere to be seen. And who's meant to be his bodyguard, and then the ball goes to Kimpembe, who has an easy block, and he falls on the floor. Like, you know, Kimpembe had a horrid tournament, and this is they really missed Umtiti. Umtiti was their best defender in 2018. They really missed him. But yeah, all this is a roundabout way to say the Swiss are no joke. Don't discount them. They're very, 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 very solid. But the problem the Swiss are going to have is their brilliance was built around Granit Xhaka, the most un-Arsenal performance from an Arsenal player I can remember in recent memory. But the problem they're going to have is he's suspended now for Spain. And Spain had their own gut check against Croatia, where they were brilliant. Went 3-1 up. Pedri again, probably after Pogba, the second best player at the tournament so far. Amazing. They're 3-1 up. And you're thinking, yeah, they're going to go through. And then they bottle it. But they had unlike France, they had the ambition. This is what makes me worry about Spain as the actual potential winners. They had the guts and the determination to say, all right, we're going to go win this. And we're not going to wait for penalties. We're going to go win this right now. And they did it. And they did it in style. Like, they scored 2. They could have scored 4 or 5 in extra time. Morata had, like, the running of the pitch. And obviously, he's not really consistent in front of goal. He scored the 1 goal, but he should have scored, like, a hat-trick in extra time, you know? So Spain, I just think, watch out, because Luis Enrique's got them believing in themselves again. And Luis Enrique's great at mentality, coaching mentality into players. He got Barcelona over their Pep Guardiola hump when he went there in 2015, and he made them into the best team in the world again. He could do the same for Spain. He could get them over this idea of trying to constantly recapture the glory of 2008 to 2012. He could say, no, this is a new chapter. And Luis Enrique is mentally tough as I mean, he's been through so much in his real life, but even as a football coach, he's just so mentally strong, and he has this team looking mentally strong. He's handled Morata fantastically. You know, you compare to the tune he's got out of Morata to the tune Southgate has not really got out of Kane, and it's like, you know, levels as a coach, right? You know, and so Spain are not to be discounted. I think they'll beat Switzerland, and I think they'll get to semi-finals. Now, in the semi-finals, who are they going to face? I mean, that's the big one, right?
Well, that leads us to the pick of the ties. Potentially, probably won't be the best game because it is the pick of the tie. That's usually how it goes down. But yeah, Belgium against Italy. Is the winner coming from that game, do you think?
It should. Logically, it should do. But then tournaments don't really follow logic. But Italy have been the most cohesive and coherent side of the tournament so far, right? They look brilliant.
I thought they underwhelmed a little bit, to be honest, against Austria. I thought they played it a bit too safe and didn't attack in numbers.
Yeah, well, that was the worry, right? Because obviously they played their 3 group games and they were great, but they were playing all of their group games at home in Rome. And their first game away from Rome was in the quarterfinals against Austria, and they didn't look anywhere near as assured. Now, that was partly because of the away thing, but also you have to remember that Mancini got his midfield line up wrong, right? Verratti is a brilliant footballer, but you don't need Verratti and Jorginho in midfield unless you're playing like an elite team that's going to have dominate the midfield, right? Like if they got to the semis and played Spain, you could maybe then make a case for playing Verratti to keep the ball away from Spain. But you're playing Austria, you don't need Verratti and Jorginho. It made the midfield, like I said, too slow. They didn't get forward enough numbers. Locatelli comes on and suddenly, boom, Italy are at it again. And then they look like they're going for it. But what impresses me about Italy is they can start Berardi and he can run opponents into the ground. And then if he's not getting any joy, which he might not do, he's played well so far. But if he was struggling like against Austria, you bring on Chiesa, Federico Chiesa. What a player to bring on!
He was one of my picks for if United didn't manage to get Sancho. Was Chiesa? I rate him a lot.
He's chip off the old block, isn't it? You know, that's exactly what it is. If you're old enough to remember his old man playing for Parma in Serie A, he was fantastic. And Federico is the same sort of thing. Really, really good player. And you look at Insigne's playing the form of his life. Immobile, if he's not playing well, Belotti's can come in. Belotti's a beast. So, you know, they've got talent everywhere. Jorginho's playing well. Obviously, Verratti, Locatelli's out of his mind. Barella's playing well. Spinazzola's fantastic. Di Napoli is a rock, like 3 lungs on that guy. The weakness they're going to have is the central defence. It's a bunch of old dudes, and none of them are particularly good, and morally questionable as well with Leonardo Bonucci. So, you know, that's their weakness. But the thing is, who's going to expose them on that? France were obviously the best bet. You're thinking, okay, Mbappe and Benzema running at those 2 old defenders, that's going to be a joy for France. But France are out. Right, so now you're thinking, does Spain, can Morata punish them? I mean, I don't know. He knows Bonucci plays with him for Juventus, so maybe he could figure out a way to get past him.
This time next week, Thursday next week, we're going to know who the final's going to be. So we're going to go through the quarters and the semis. I want to know, put your money where your mouth is, and I want to know who is going to be the 2 finalists.
All right, okay. So England are going to beat Ukraine. Yeah, Denmark going to beat Czech Republic.
Yep.
And I would love it if Denmark could win, not just because I don't want England to win, but just because I think the narrative is great. But I do think Southgate is in pure contained mode. I think England will beat Denmark in the semis.
I
agree. Switzerland, Spain are going to beat Switzerland. Belgium, Italy, we didn't discuss Belgium. Belgium are really, really good. They've got a really, really old defence. Lukaku is probably the striker of the tournament. But the problem Belgium are going to have is I would have bet them to beat Italy, right? Because of Lukaku, because they've done the break. But
no De Bruyne.
No De Bruyne, no Eden Hazard. That's a huge thing. The only way they can beat Italy, which I actually tipped them to beat Italy, I think they will do, because I think Martinez will put up one of those tactical things where he plays Lukaku on the right and he'll put Jeremy Doku or Yannick Carrasco up front if he does this. Because those two are rapid and running them in behind the old Italian defence. I think they'll win them 1-0. I think Belgium will go through. I think Belgium will play Spain. I think Spain are just full of belief. I think it'll be Spain versus England in the final. I think England. And who win the final?
Well, we'll talk about that one next week because we'll be here next week to talk about it.
I think Spain will have got the mentality on their side. They've got the belief on their side, and the Spanish side with belief is very dangerous. I think England, they've got the weaker side of the draw, and they've got enough talent and enough defence in that. Harry Maguire, by the way,
and it's at Wembley.
And it's at Wembley, yeah. Harry Maguire has been lights out since coming to the team. Mings wasn't bad. Mings was perfectly fine in those first 2 games, but Maguire adds so much more, and it's like 2 years after his world record transfer, he's finally playing like the world's most expensive defender, proper world class now, genuine leader. Like Jurgen Klinsmann called him a Mustang compared to Lucio. Absolutely right, he's a proper Mustang Maguire, outrageous, and the team is built off him. He was man of the match against Germany. The team is almost built around his defensive prowess, holding the whole thing together. You know, and with him at the back in that kind of form, with Phillips and Rice in that kind of form, England will be so solid. And I think that solidity is what's going to see them past first Ukraine, where they'll just have enough. They'll do enough to win. And then again, past Denmark, who are the narrative favourites. I would love it if Denmark could win just for the narrative, but I don't think they'll have. England will just be too defensively powerful for them.
Yeah, I agree. Right, well, we'll hopefully be talking about an England-Spain final this time next week. Let's find out how good Mo was with his predictions. If you want more of Mo's predictions and analysis and all the rest of it, where can you find you, Mo?
Squawka. Squawka.com, Squawka on Twitter, Squawka Football on Facebook, you know, Mohammed Butt on Twitter, all the good stuff.
All right, yeah, check those out. The links for those will be in the description. Nice one, Mo, and I'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Racing again this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Keep doing it, don't they? Back to back to back to back, staying in Austria, wherever it is.
Interesting way of doing stuff. Verstappen won again. He's now 18 points clear.
Looking good, isn't he?
Lewis Hamilton driving like he stole it a little bit at the moment, shredding tyres left, right, and centre. That's because he's not cool.
Not doing that well.
Collected.
It'd be good to really test his mettle now, Hamilton, because
How many are left, do you know?
how many races? I'm not sure. Still quite a few.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It's 18 points it's not an unsurmountable lead, is it?
it's
Because
not.
if he retires from a couple of races and Hamilton wins,
That's it.
he'll be 6 behind.
Yeah, it's literally like being about 6 points ahead in football. So it's like it's a good lead. You've got a couple of, but there's no guarantee that you're going to win it on that. Hamilton's very good, and goes for all of F1 because of not everyone's driving the same car. People just win it easy most of the time. Hamilton's very good at winning it when he's in the best car. This is going to be a real test because he's not in the best car, or certainly his car isn't much better if it is than the Red Bull. So this will be a real test for him. I mean, I don't mind Verstappen, but obviously being British, I would prefer Hamilton to win it. But he's going to have to pull his finger at it because he's probably already regarded as maybe the best ever. Him and Schumacher now, I think, are regarded as that.
Regarded that much?
Yeah, I think he's won 6 titles or 7 titles. It's 6,
But how
I think.
much of this then is on the car and how much of this is on the driver?
Well, both, because Schumacher was also in the best car. When he won, I think it was 6 in a row or 5 in a row. Maybe not, but the majority of his winning was done at Ferrari, wasn't it? And they just had the best car, so he won. It's not quite as ludicrous as it was like when Jenson Button won at that time, and I think they won every single race. It's not quite as close as that, or as far away as that as it has been. Yeah, exactly. Because the rules changed massively, and they were just the best by a mile.
That's the mad thing about Formula One, is that they go bananas on the rules every year, don't they? And they have some weird stuff come into it every time as well. Where do you stand on doing it like IndyCar style, where you all get the same car, paint it a different colour and get the fuck out?
Well, they do.
Or would you rather people really push the technology as hard as they can?
I don't know, because they do that. I can't remember if it's Formula 3 or Formula E or one of them. There is one where they're all just in the same car, but you wear your colours differently. And I like the idea of that sort of sport-wise, but then
that's the best driver.
It's the best driver, but F1 isn't about or only about who is the best driver. It's who is the best team. That's why they have the Constructors' Championship as well. And I think for someone who I don't mind watching it, but we're not well into it. Maybe we don't appreciate that as much as the people who love cars and motors and motorsport and mechanics and all that.
Yeah, but they've got the best pit team.
Exactly, and the best scientists and the best whatever. That's all part of it. And then the driver's just the thing on top. It's like horse racing. Yes, you have a jockey you like, but it's about the horses as much as anything. I think it's the same with cars and F1. So there is that extra element with that.
Formula One, 50 years ago-ish, was literally just almost no rules, build the fastest car you can crack on. Would you like to see someone do that again? And just almost no
go
rules?
mad.
Yeah, because I wonder, would you choose the Formula One shape?
I don't know, yeah, maybe. It looks as though it's just built for pure downforce, doesn't it? So surely something like that would be
it's
ideal.
It's not going to look like a truck.
No.
It's not going to be miles different from that. But no. I do wonder if someone was like, there's no rules.
Yeah.
Get around the track as fast as you can.
Have as many engines as you want.
Whatever horsepower,
as many horsepower.
whatever fucking literage.
Yeah.
Just, you're going to have to race 50 laps of this track. What is the fastest car?
Yeah. But the problem is, some people would be going 300 miles an hour down a straight, and it would become so much more dangerous again, and more dangerous than it ever was.
But yeah, because you can probably do that when it's a closed circuit and be fine. You add other motherfuckers onto the track, going different speeds.
You're trying to race someone at that speed, and the changes and the aggression of gears. And I mean, at some point, humans will be limited by G-force, I think, before the technology did, because you can't go 0 to 500 miles an hour without passing out.
That's fine now.
Well, you're going to, it would be great, getting you in one of those, do you know that they put astronauts in, those big spinny things?
Send me.
Would you do one of them?
Yeah.
And your face is peeling off. And
I
you shit yourself.
I saw one of, it was a Russian one, and you've seen the Joe Rogan bits where he's talking about that, you have to do the hooking, where you go,
oh yeah.
basically keeping your blood pressure high in your head so you don't pass the fuck out.
Yeah.
And it was, basically looked like a guy's face was melting just because of the weight of him. I think he got him up to like 13G, that might be wrong, I don't know. It was like...
ridiculous.
Basically, there was two of them on camera, one passed out immediately, and the other guy was going... And his eyes was like doing this shit as he was trying to do it, and you're like, how fast are they going? And then they wind it down, and he's takes a couple of like breaths and he becomes normal again with a very red face, and you're like, wow.
Yeah, that's not
I'd
worth
do it.
doing.
Right?
Have you ever done it where you spin your arm around as fast as you can and all the blood rushes to the end of your hand and it like throbs? Where is that blood going?
What do you mean?
Because if in that guy, obviously when you're doing that, it's going in your hand. But when you're spinning around and one of those things, where is his blood?
Being forced
Just in
to
your
the back
belly.
of your back, yeah.
That's
On
a
the
horrible
back of your
feeling,
back,
isn't it?
yeah.
Imagine.
Of course it is, yeah. But that's just liquid fucking whatever it's called, physics.
Liquid banter, innit? Jesus Christ. Well, we need to get you in one of them, but I don't even know where they have them. NASA. Let's get you down to Cape Canaveral.
Yeah,
spin
ring
you
them.
about.
Get Sophie, ring them.
Yeah.
Hiya.
Yeah. But I think that would be a limit at some point of F1 cars. You couldn't just go 400 miles an hour and then down to 0 straight away. You'd pass out. Fun to see, though. I don't think the tracks are big enough as well. I suppose they would be limited by that, but it might be fun to see.
But that's it, I mean, because that's what Formula One was. Now it's become, this is very much the genre of races that we do.
Yeah.
But it would be very interesting to see if someone was just like, there's your track, see you in a year. And see what
in
you
a
bring. It's like
year.
Robot Wars, where people
Yeah.
just go, why's it got a saw on its head?
Yeah. He went around it in 3 seconds. He just walked through a hole in a door and came out of the finish line. You've won. Imagine.
Yeah, someone's not... I read the rules. Doesn't say you can't teleport.
Doesn't say you have to be in a car. We just did quantum travel. Shit, they've won. Yeah,
That'd be
great.
interesting.
Excellent.
What else happened this week?
Wimbledon's.
Oh, yeah.
The greatest show on grass that's small.
Joe, got questions.
What?
I saw the crowd.
Yeah.
No masks. Sitting right close together. I know people going, you two aren't fucking wearing masks. We deep throat cotton buds every fucking day. And I am so bored of it.
And we get COVID tests as well, don't we? What you do in your office, I wonder what that noise was. Stay, I like it. Yeah, we do COVID tests all the
Every
time.
fucking day. I swear to God, I'm so bored of this. But that's what, I mean, you even saw, we fucking make everyone who comes in to do it. You seen Rio fucking doing it. He's a noisy one when he does it.
Yeah.
I'm less noisy now. I'm just...
You got used to it,
I
haven't
just
you?
kind
You've
of
got a
cry.
taste for it.
I kind of just cry a little bit when it happens. But yeah, so we're doing fucking tests every single fucking day so we can do this. We're reducing the restrictions down. But Wimbledon, people are literally sitting in every seat. There's no spaced out seats.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of spacing, but it's not like hit one, miss one, hit one, miss one. I don't
Not even
quite
that
know.
football, is it? It's like 2 meters and stuff.
Yeah, I think Wembley was slightly more, wasn't it? It was 40,000, so that was every other seat pretty much. I think they're just slowly bringing it back, aren't they? And they're doing test things like there was that rave in Liverpool, the final, the Crucible for the World Snooker Championships in
They all
April.
wore masks, though.
They all wore masks,
And I
but that
still
was
think
indoors.
yeah, and they were still spaced out a touch.
No, for the final, it was full house.
Was it?
Yeah,
Just
that
masks?
was with masks on. So they are slowly introducing and seeing what's going on to get everything back. The newest thing isn't it? Is number of percentage of pupils being having disrupted work weeks is up to 5%. Because now the deaths aren't really going up. The numbers are going up, but not as much as they were. We've got a new metric, which is percentage of pupils who have had their week disrupted by COVID.
To be fair though, like one kid gets it, the entire year group gets fucking launched on for a week.
It's definitely an issue still, but it's like, I think they're slowly coming up with new ways to get people in and do stuff.
Well, please don't get your medical advice from a YouTube show, right? But
or do, whatever.
I'd say definitely don't.
Yeah, but if you do, it's on you.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Right? But, well from me now. Like, for me, it seems like loads of people are getting it still, but nobody's getting sick with it. Like, early doors, it was, everyone's getting it, you're all going to die.
Yeah.
And loads of people are in hospital and ventilators, we've run out of them. And now,
Yeah.
now it's like, loads of people have got it. Was anyone in hospital? No, not really.
No. Well, that's what the vaccine does, isn't it? Because it's not
So-
a you don't catch it vaccine. It's a you can catch it, but you're less likely to catch it and you won't die.
Yeah.
And that's really, I mean,
But some of you still might.
some people
'Cause that's
will,
just numbers, isn't
but the number of people who have had both vaccines who have died from COVID in Britain is, I think, in the single figures. Or if not, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's minimal fractions of a percent. To the
Because-
point where it's less dangerous than the flu or pretty much any sort of minor gripe people have.
I can so badly see we might get August and September, and then guess what, fuckers? See you in March.
Fourth wave.
At which point, I honestly, like, you've seen the marches and stuff about lockdown. I think people are so fucking over it.
I
When
mean-
people are gone, hang on, I fucking isolated. I did 2 weeks, which turned into 4 months, right? Then I did another 3 fucking months at Christmas. Then I got both the jabs on the vaccine. Come on, man.
Especially if the deaths aren't going up, at some point we have to that has to be life.
You just have to go, yeah, guess what? COVID's now a thing. Hope you don't get it.
Yeah. And if you've got it, you have to isolate. But even if you've been in a room with someone who's got it, you don't until you've tested positive, because otherwise our whole lives forever are going to be ruled by COVID. And assuming, like I said, the deaths stay down, it's just something that has to be brought in and stirred into the rest of the things that can kill you in the world.
Ronaldo's mum had it.
Yeah.
Ronaldo lives with her. Ronaldo was doing tests every day, isolated for what he was supposed to, and then we made him do 2 before he came back in. And he never got it living with her.
Yeah. Is he had a vaccine, Ronaldo?
No.
Is he going to?
I wouldn't like to speculate.
Save that for your podcast, perhaps.
Yeah, I guess, I think I know the answer, but I don't think so.
But anyway, Wimbledon, we had Jack Draper getting a set off Novak Djokovic.
Who the fuck's he, Joe?
You know who Novak Djokovic is?
Oh, right, yeah. No,
Jack Draper is a young, I believe, wildcard, certainly outside the top 200 rankings, British kid.
How many ranked?
Fucking 2. I think it's like 200 and something.
So if we just rock up to start playing tennis, we don't just get ranked, surely?
No. It's not like, it don't go down to like 1 million like we'd be. You have to be in like the top 200 and something, I think. He got set off him, looked really good. Got swept for the next 3 sets, but don't worry about that. It was a nice little, and then Andy Murray won as well, that was good. Serena Williams had to retire with injury. She's not actually been that good for about 3 years now, but, you know.
How old is she?
I think mid to late 30s. She's had
I feel like
a
she's
child.
similar age to me.
Yeah, I think she is about 37. Is 37? Yeah, I think she had a child a few years ago. Not won a major since that, so that's the thing that she's going for. But had to retire. So, but do you like Wimbledon? You get into it at all? What about in the heyday, 10 years ago? Prime Federer, prime Nadal, up and coming Djokovic and Murray. I loved it back in those days.
I didn't mind watching Andre Agassi.
Yeah, it was cool. Wig or bald?
Oh, wig.
Yeah.
Because he was cool.
Yeah.
And who was the guy that he was up against all the time? Sampras.
Pete Sampras.
He was boring.
Yeah, but he was one of the best
So you
ever.
had a rock, but boring.
Yeah.
He was a proper beige, boring character, whereas Agassi looked like he did narcotics before he played. Don't think he did. Just looked like he did.
And I think if you read his autobiography, he might well have done.
Oh, right.
I think he was...
No, allegedly needed.
Well, no, allegedly still needed, but I'm pretty sure he was getting stuck
But do you know what, though?
Yeah.
He looks like that.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need some of that flavour.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Great player as well. But yeah, mid-90s
I remember that because they just had rallies for weeks.
Big Greg Rosetsky fan?
This is proper 90s. No, not fuck Greg Rosetsky.
Tim
Fuck
Henman?
Tim Henman as well. Joe, I fucked Tim Henman.
Tim
I've never seen a more limp fist in my life. Do you like when he used to go, yes, I've won? It was like, I can't even do it. It was just, like that's a fist, isn't it? Fucking yeah. His was like, he'd seen someone else do a fist, but never done it. It was like...
Tucking the thumb in money.
It was shit. It was a shit fist, and there was no passion in it whatsoever. It was an alien's interpretation of what a human emotion should be. It was pathetic. Henman Hill.
Henman Hill's a good place,
Fuck
though.
off.
We'll be there one day, me and you.
What a fucking drip.
Hey, we should go play tennis for Wimbledon, you know.
There's a tennis place near me.
Let's go.
I've got a question for you.
Go on.
Because I think I know the answer.
All right.
And I don't really want to say this before we do clay pigeon shooting, which we have to rearrange again.
Because they've run out of pigeons.
Supposedly, shout out to Whistlepunks, because we had to rearrange that one, which is the axe throwing. Apparently, friends of the show. Fans of the show. So,
Interesting. We'll get us in then.
We are going to come down and throw axes around in your gaff soon, but we'll figure it out when.
What are we saying?
Next week's meant to be fencing,
Yeah.
for now,
Right.
until another catastrophe occurs and then it's not. But here's my question for you. Because I wonder if we could do a fixture list challenge, a proper fixture list challenge. What do you reckon, and you guys get involved at home, what do you reckon the easiest Olympic sport would be if I was like, you've got 5 years to make it to the Olympics? Go. Well, I guess 8 years, because...
Oh, that's a tough one, isn't it? Shooting.
I think shooting.
Yeah.
Especially in England,
Yeah.
you've got a very small pool of athletes.
Yeah.
They're all 60,
Yeah.
right?
They're all retired teachers.
Yeah. You ain't got a lot. Here's the thing. Is it the one you're best at? I mean, you've got to kind of be good, no
Yeah.
doubt. But is it the thing that you gravitate to the most? Or is it like, actually, no, I can fucking get in the Olympics here?
Well, that's what happened with Eddie the Eagle, wasn't it? We didn't have a representative for snow jump, whatever it's called. So he was like, I'll do it, ski jumping. So he did it. But I reckon it's got to be shooting. The lowest quality threshold.
The Army's really good at is like...
But surely they're all ex-Army people doing the shooting.
Most people. Yeah, well, I would imagine, yeah. But like, even like all of the winter sports, they're Army types. I did 16 weeks away Nordic skiing. And the Great Britain Olympic team was just the Army team. Or the armed forces teams. I think there might have been like Navy and RAF guys in there as well. But essentially, they're the only fuckers who get to go and try that shit. Like, you don't grow up in fucking Worksop or Manchester and do Nordic skiing.
No.
That's not a thing.
No.
Like, where are you doing that? Yeah, just on the M60. Like, it doesn't happen. So all of those weird sports, from toboggan to fucking Nordic skiing to even fucking clay pigeon shooting, you ain't doing those unless you're exposed to them in a weird career like the military. And that's one of the things that the military was sailing. Like, there's people I knew that was in fucking sailing thingies. You ain't doing that brought up in fucking Hume.
No.
Like, it's not fucking the thing.
I tell you what I would absolutely love to see, though. You doing the skeleton bob. Do you know, with just on the little tray, you look like a fucking Thanksgiving turkey going down that tube.
That'd be rapid, John. Rapid.
Trying to stop you at the bottom.
Gravity. 2. Reckless/fearless.
Gravity. 3. They'd have to put one of those spike strips that they put out when they're trying to puncture a car's tyres to stop you at the bottom.
When I was doing Nordic skiing, one of the Army generals came out to visit, and I had to go pick him up, so I had to fucking stop skiing for the day, because you have to do bullshit little meet and greets like this with some crazy... The thing that I found is the higher ranking the officer, this is a guy who's a major general, so he's like one of the top 3 fellas in the Army, the higher the ranking the officer, the fucking mentaler they are and the more fun they are. It's the middle fucking ground where they're
middle
all
management.
up their arse. Yeah, as always.
Yeah.
So I went and picked him up, and he was like, what's it like on the piss around here? And I was like, I'll fucking take you if you want. Because it was like Magaluf on snow.
Where was it?
We was in Sur Chevalier in southern France, which is, I think it's near Nice, I think, in the bottom of the Alps. And it was fucking belting. And it was like Magaluf on snow. And it stunk. Because, I don't know if you know this, there was an overwhelming emotion, Joe. Obviously, it smells. Like, if you go to a nice beach resort, everyone's wearing what? A t-shirt, shorts, maybe not even. If you go skiing, what's everyone wearing? A lot!
Astronaut.
Because it's fucking cold.
Yeah.
People don't then go and get little skimpy dresses and fucking nice shirts on to go to the nightclubs. They just go to the nightclubs with Allianz and base layers and stuff on. People stink. I stunk. That's the game.
That's rough, isn't it?
Yeah, it's rough. So, anyway, while we're there, he's got Army bobsleigh. No, he didn't. He had Olympic, whatever it was, fucking Britain bobsleigh team. And I was like, how'd you get on that? He was like, it's the Army team. And I was like, can I do that? And then he was supposed to be sending me a lot of information. He never did.
You got pissed, probably.
Maybe, yeah. But he was like, he was like a fucking right laugh. And basically he was saying, yeah, like, all of these winter sports, it's just the fucking Army team. Because who the fuck else is getting a train for that? I work at the Halifax and I do bobsled at the weekend. He doesn't, do you know what I mean? It's not a thing.
No.
So I reckon leave the winter sports ones. 1, they're expensive. 2, you don't get enough snow around here to do that kind of shit. You're looking at shooting and archery, potentially. Let us know in the comments, what's the easiest sport? If you had to go for
Summer Olympics.
Yeah, Summer Olympics. Because there's mad shit like kayaking.
Yeah, which we wouldn't be good at.
No, because I reckon there's a bit of skill in that. I mean, I'm not to say that you are looking at what's one of the least skilled or the easiest to pick up.
Yeah.
Because all you got to do, like with, I mean, this obviously is a bit more difficult, but the 100 metres, there's a qualifying time. And if you hit that qualifying time, and no one else did, you're fucking going to the Olympics, mate. No one else from your country. So is there qualification rounds for thingies? Because this could be a well.
You have to be able to shoot a 5p at 50 metres. Think you can do it?
A 5p? Yeah. Depends with what.
Let's do it.
Depends with what. With the biathlon ones, they were 50 metres and that was probably a bit bigger than a 50p. Not 5p, but makes a great noise though, because they don't go boom when you shoot them. They go dink, and it's a dink when it hits the thing on the other side.
Nice.
And it just falls and turns to white. Little black dot, and then, because that's how you know if you've hit them or not. It's not a guy marking you. Did you fucking send the targets down? Some funky stances that you have to throw though to lock everything when
you
you're
ever do one over the shoulder?
No, not with one of them. Not with a 2-2. But again, let us know in the comments. What do you think the easiest sport would be to just randomly pick up and get to an Olympic level? Because the Olympics is meant to be like the pinnacle. Can we make a mockery of the Olympics by just fucking rocking up and doing something?
That'd be great.
What have we got, 5 years?
Yeah.
No, we've got 4 years, I guess.
Yeah. 4 years. We can get good at shooting in 4 years.
Because the Olympics was meant to be last year.
Oh,
the next
3
one is
years.
3 years.
Shit.
Or 7.
7 years. Perfect.
Let us know. Anyway, check out Squawka for everything that you need to know, covering the rest of the tournament. Links for all that sort of stuff will be in the description. Cheers from Mo for joining us as usual, and cheers to you guys for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe. And if you're done and you're going, Steve, I want a little bit more content, please go check out the XG files yesterday with Ronaldo. It will not disappoint. And cheers to Joe. In a bit.